7 of the Making Stories podcast. I'm Annalisa, your host for today and always, and I feel a little bit out of practice, but let's see how it goes. I very, very warmly welcome you into this space. This is a podcast all about knitting and a glimpse behind the scenes of what we do here at Making Stories, where we're your online yarn shop about all things sustainability and knitting. So we carry an array of beautiful, sustainably produced yarns, and we create a biannual magazine. And yeah, I hope you're well. Settle in for the next 30 minutes or so with me. Excuse me. And let's spend a little bit of time together. I'm not actually sure why I feel a little bit out of practice. Maybe because this week feels a little bit frantic or frazzled. And I feel a little bit the same this morning. There's just a lot going on. So last week was Oren's 4th birthday. Oren is the kid of my partner and I. And it was wonderful, but it also meant, focusing a lot of my time and attention and energy on preparing our first ever, with kids from the Kita, which is the German daycare, party and hosting that and stuff. And everything went well and I really enjoyed it. But yeah, it's always those weeks that kind of leave me a little bit like, oof. And then this week comes around, which usually we have like a really regular rhythm between David, so my partner and I, my husband and I, with Oren. So we live together, but because we're both working full time, there's a schedule of who picks up Oren when and all of those things. And this week, a lot of that just got blown out the window because we have other commitments. We had an open day at our primary school, our local primary school that I went to attend, and then our babysitter is sick. So the day that she usually spends with Oren, we were kind of dividing that between us. So it just all feels kind of, not like our regular rhythm and routine. I hope you bear with me. I do have a lot to talk about and some really, really, really exciting things. So we're going to start with me just sharing a little bit about what I'm wearing. And then I have brought 2.5 projects that I want to show you. And then a lot of things that are coming to the shop because our first big shop update for the fall is almost here. I am recording this also a little later than usual because I was still waiting for some yarn to arrive, and it's all here so I can show you everything that's going to be in the shop on October 1st. And yeah, let's get going. Let me just quickly check that I'm actually recording. That would fit the theme of this week if I had recorded a full 30-minute, 45-minute episode and then not recorded at all. Okay, what am I wearing? Which is a tiny little bit too warm for what the weather we're experiencing currently here in Berlin. I am wearing my violet tee. Let me just quickly get up and show you. Which is a pattern by Jessica McDonald. It's a fabulous cropped top-down drop shoulder tee that just fits super, super well. We made some kits for this earlier this year and they sold out super, super fast. And I can't blame everyone because it's just a really nice pattern. It has this gorgeous lace at the bottom that's super intuitive and just very, very fun to knit. I knit mine in Wool Dreamers Saona, which is a lovely fingering weight blend of 50% Spanish cotton and 50% Spanish wool. The wool is a blend again of Manchega sheep, which are also the sheep out of whose milk you can make Manchego cheese, which is very yummy, and Spanish Merino. And it's a really nice yarn that is lightweight and I think great for transitional seasons. So I didn't wear this in the summer because I mean, you see me slightly sweaty, right? Like I am very warm, very easily very warm. And so in the summer, I tend to gravitate towards the linen tops and t-shirts that I've knit myself. But this is great for a transitional period. So for the spring or the fall, because it keeps you warm, but it's also really nice and airy. And it comes in like beautiful heathered shades. You can see it. So the white bits are the cotton that don't like, they take the dye just differently than the wool, and so the colors are just really, really beautiful. We do have some sauna still in stock. We got a restock about 2 weeks ago, and a lot of it sold really quickly. I do think there are a couple of colors where we don't really have that much anymore. But this one, for example, which is 1985, I'm pretty sure we still have enough to make at least this or a fingering weight sweater. So yeah, do check it out if you like it. And you can get the pattern directly from Jessica over on her website. And I'll link to both in the down bar below. Alrighty, looking at my little list down there, I want to talk about what's been on my needles these past 2 weeks. So I've brought 2 projects to show you because these are the ones that I've mostly worked on. I couldn't really remember, sorry, also kind of like tough at the tail end of like this weird cuff thing that I've had. So yeah, bear with me. I can't remember whether I'd shown you the finished self-striping sock. So I've brought it because that's also part of the shop update. But I want to start first with my Theophrastus tee, which is going to probably be the last summery knit that I'm doing this year. I have started on my fall knitting. Speaking of, a little side note, you might be wondering what's happening with my Twisted Vines sweater, which is a sweater that I was working on, I think in August a lot, and I sped through it. Like I've already finished the body and everything. I haven't worked on that. I got the, you know, when you put a project aside for a few weeks, which I did because it was just frankly too warm to work on that sweater. It's a DK weight sweater, and I was like, no, this is not. So in the meantime, I finished my PT rack top, which you can check out in the last episode. I've kind of gotten the itch of like taking that Twisted Vine sweater up again, and I've consciously tried to resist it because I think I want to finish this one first, because if I get anywhere out of the Theophrastus t-shirt still this year, it's going to be now, basically, like in the golden fall days that we're experiencing right now. Maybe there are a few more of that coming in October, or layered under a cardigan, which is something that I realized is really lacking from my hand knit wardrobe. I have, I think, 2 hand knit cardigans. One is like my go-to sort of, I need a cozy, comfy thing to throw over cardigan. And the other one is my bindweed, which is exactly the opposite. It has big balloon sleeves with this gorgeous, intricate cable detailing. Which is kind of my going out fancy knitwear in the winter thing. So I do need to make myself a few cardigans this winter, or I don't need to, I want to. And I want to try steeking because I've been kind of thinking that maybe the reason why I don't have that many cardigans is because I don't particularly like knitting and purling at the scale, like the purling at the scale that you need for a cardigan that is not steeked. So that's knit flat, essentially. And I've come to realize that while I was working on what's in here, which is a new work in progress. So yeah, just sort of some loose knitting dreams. I definitely want more cardigans in my wardrobe. I've never steeked anything. So for those of you who don't know what steeking is, sorry, I should have explained that earlier. Steeking is the process of cutting your knitting. So if you want to knit something that would have been knit flat, like a cardigan, for example, you knit it in the round, add a few extra stitches for the cardigan, that would be where the button band goes. And then when you're done with knitting in the round, you cut your knitting so that you end up with the flat panels that you need for a cardigan. And then you kind of reinforce you reinforce the cut edges for most of the yarns. You can like sew a ribbon against it. So yeah, I've never done that. I'm not scared of cutting my knitting. I've done that plenty of times for swatches and stuff, but never on that scale, and it's time for me to do it. That was a long side note. Coming back to what's in my fabulous Wildwood Stitches project bag. This is the first one that I ever got from Harriet, and I still love it so much. If you don't know Harriet's work, check it out. If you've been following us for a while, you know how much I love her work, because we periodically tend to have some limited edition bags. So anyways, in my project bag is my Theophrastus tee, which I'm going to insert a picture of here. It's a design by Valerie Rachel that was originally published in issue 9. And I'm happy to report that it's available as an individual PDF now. So if you like this picture and you like what I'm about to show you, and you're like, ooh, but I don't want to buy the entire magazine, you can now just get the individual PDF on our website. Theophrastus is a top-down raglan t-shirt, and it has two ruffles that are sort of going across the upper chest. Otherwise, it's short sleeved. You can make it as long or as short as you like, because it's knit from the top down, and it's written for knitting it with 2 strands of a fluffy yarn. I think the last time that I showed you, I had maybe finished the neckline or something. Sorry, this is kind of awkward. Let me just put that in here. The little strand of yarn. I have, as you can see, split for the sleeves, and I'm about, how much is this? Maybe like 8, 9, 10 centimeters, into the body. So right now it's just soothing stockinette in the round and round we go until I finish the body and or the stockinette portion. Then there's a little bit of twisted rib at the bottom, and then a little bit of work on the sleeves still. I think there will be a couple more centimeters here of stockinette, and then some ribbing, and then I'll add the ruffles, which will be anchored to that purl line that you can see there. So that line is there intentionally. It's not as if I suddenly got the inclination to put in a purl ridge there, but this is where the ruffles will be anchored. As I said, the pattern is written for 2 strands of a fluffy yarn, and we quite recently added we had some knitting for Olive way back when in the shop, but we added our first here to stay fluffy yarn to the shop, which is the Rerum Natura's Bérénice. This is how it, there's like 2 yarn tags. So this is how it looks like. Bérénice. Bérénice is a lace weight yarn. It's 210 meters to 25 grams. All of the kit mohair, super kit mohair, silk combinations, also the cerise, they all tend to go in that sort of weight range, except for there are some Suri alpaca yarns that are slightly knit up at a slightly heavier gauge. But usually you could, interchange them quite without problems. What I really love about Bérénice is that it's not only a mohair silk blend, so there is 25% silk in there. You can't avoid that for these fluff yarns because they need a core thread, which you can see is this golden color here. They need a core thread for the other fibers to anchor themselves to. And so most of the time that thread is made out of silk. And then there is 55% RMS certified super kit mohair and 20% organic merino darl, which I'm really excited about because it gives this yarn a little bit of I would say heavier hand than just the fluff kit mohair. So it's super, super soft and amazing to work with. It feels almost exactly the same as a mohair silk blend, but it has a little bit extra something to it, which I love. So for Theophrastus, Valerie has you choose 2 different colors that you're marling together, and then the ruffles will be in 1 color each. And I chose 2 colors that are that I absolutely adore, and I think will fit really, really well into my wardrobe. I've definitely noticed a shift in the colors that I gravitate towards, not only seasonally, but also this year. So I used to be wearing a lot of blue and pink and blue jeans, and then in the winter, black. I seem to have expanded that. So I really love warmer tones right now. So like rusty reds and oranges, and also olive green, which I'm quite excited about. Like it just feels like I'm shifting towards a different color season of my life, if I may say so. And these 2 colors that I chose are definitely ones that just maybe a year ago, I wouldn't have chosen. The top one is Badiane, which is this really gorgeous rusty red. And the bottom one is Avoine, which is a creamy white leaning towards a pale pink. And yeah, held together, they look like this. Which I absolutely love. So yeah, very, very excited about this, and eager to continue knitting on this. I'm knitting it on 4.5 millimeter needles, so it's not going super, super slowly. Yeah, but I don't know if that happens for you too. For me, always, I don't know. There are some weeks where I feel just so much momentum when it comes to my knitting, and I think I get so much done. And then there are other weeks where it's just like, oh, this feels a little bit like a slog right now. And it often doesn't even have to do with how much knitting time I had. Even if it's the same amount of time and technically the same amount of knitting that I've done, some weeks it just feels like I've accomplished so much more and others not. Let me know if it's the same for you in the comments. I do think that it might have to do with, the momentum that you get from finishing a project, then choosing a new cast on, casting something on, quickly working through like the first whatever bit of it is. Maybe that just feels faster than Sleeve Island or Body Island. I don't know. Do let me know what you think. Anyway, anyways, so this is one of the projects, one of the two projects that I worked on a lot in the past 2 weeks. The other one is a new cast on. I'm really sorry about the coughing. As I said, on the tail end of that, it wasn't really a cold, just a cough, but a little bit, annoying regardless. So this is the new cast on that you haven't seen yet. This lives in one of my trusted Hide and Hammer roll top number 3 bags. And it is not for me, it's for Oren, who, as I said, turned 4. And Oren loves knitwear. He's a super sweet kid anyways. But when it comes to knitwear, I think you can so clearly see that he now at 4 understands how much I love it, what an important role knitting plays in my life. And he reflects that back, which is just, it's amazing. So, every time that I wear something that I knit, he asks me whether this is something that I knit. And when I say yes, he's like, "Oh, Mom, that it's so beautiful. It's everything that you knit is just so beautiful." And it's genuine. It's like he's not just saying that to please me. Like, you can see it. He just really, really means it. And he always asks what I'm knitting on. So I just adore this. I think it's a little bit sort of a testament to, what we show our kids of who we are and what we love. They're receptive to that, and I think that's beautiful. So he's a really, really knit-worthy person, also because he's just worn the heck out of everything that I've knit him so far. And he is, he's growing like nobody's business. So he's kind of outgrown all of the sweaters that I made him. And so this fall, because last fall, I think I knit one sweater for him. And this fall, I really want to knit more for him. So I figured I'd get a head start on it. And I asked him what he wants. And he wanted a cardigan in red, because red is his current favorite color. And I chose to knit him, with his permission, because I gave him a few different options, another Joy cardigan, which is from our Kits collection. This is available in print as a nice handy little print, like a print booklet, as well as digitally, and all of the patterns, including the Joy cardigan that I'm about to show you, are available as individual PDFs as well. So the Joy cardigan is a top-down raglan cardigan with this cute little cable detail down the sleeves, and a neat little feature, which is a contiguous, I don't know, not my native language, button band. Obviously, that's Oren, by the way, right? 3 years ago when he just turned 1. He had this one in his wardrobe for about 2 years until he outgrew it. And I haven't made one since. So I figured, well, I better do that now, because the patterns here are sized up to age 6. And we are, when we're buying clothes for the age group 5 to 6 for him now, because he's quite tall. So I am knitting the Joy cardigan in the largest size for Oren, and I have made quite a bit of progress on it. Oops. Sorry, that were the needles clanking against my microphone. So, this is it. as you can see, I have split for the sleeves, and I've knit on the body like maybe like 10-12 centimeters. So it's about 30 centimeters until you start the hem. So I'm a little less than halfway through the body, which is really nice. And it goes relatively quickly. Then again, I was like, it takes a lot longer than knitting for a really, really small child. Well, I mean, which is kind of to be expected, right? Like, he's growing, obviously. Knitting for him is going to require more time as well. But I really adore the color that he chose. I'm going to talk about the yarn in a second. And I really love how it knits up. So when you knit it, you do a raglan shaping and increases, and at the same time start working the cable that you work on the sleeves as well. It's pretty straightforward. So if you can increase and have some experience with knitting and purling, you'll be fine with this pattern. Yeah, and then for the body, you have this cute little fake seam at the side. And when you get to the hem, then the fun part starts, because then you're knitting the button band in the round around the entire cardigan. And after that, when you're done, I'm going to be finishing the sleeves. I am knitting this in the original yarn, which is the Rerum Natura's Ulysse. All-time favorite desert island yarn, sport weight, 100% organic merino from Portugal and France, dyed up in a beautiful range of colors. And he chose Aubépine, which is this gorgeous red. I adore this. It's not a color I would choose for myself, but I'm so happy that he chose it, because ever since we started carrying this color, I've been wanting to knit something with it. And I think it looks gorgeous. Look, like it just glows. Such a great color. And it just makes me genuinely very, very happy to be knitting something for him and like getting a head start on his fall wardrobe. So that's great. Knitting this on 4mm needles. So again, it goes relatively fast. But this is also the project where I realized that I actually just don't enjoy purling that much. Like, I don't mind it, but if half of your knitting time, which roughly for a cardigan is just spent purling, I'm like, So, yeah. I think but I don't know whether that would work with a contiguous button band. I don't think it would. I would be quite keen to try and knit this in the round and steek it. So I can just knit in the round, because then it's just like, yeah. But I got quite a bit of knitting done on this yesterday. I think yesterday morning I split for the sleeves. And then I spent the day yesterday at a wonderful spa here in Berlin. I needed a little bit of breather after the last week with the birthday party and everything. So I knit a little bit there, and then we're currently watching the current season, which is season 3, if you're not counting the little spin-off of The Witcher, which is so bad. And I'm just so sad, because I love fantasy series, but it's just not very good. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, the pictures are still beautiful, but this current season of The Witcher just feels jarring to me for some reason. Like, the pacing doesn't work for me, because the pacing is across the entire season. I find it's just incredibly weird, but then also the pacing of every single episode is different. So some episodes feel really slow, and then others feel really fast. And I just don't think that's very enjoyable. Like, at least the pacing doesn't work for me. And then also some of the dialogues are just bad. Like, yeah. Anyways, I'm quite sad. If you have any recommendations for good fantasy series, TV series, do let me know, because I love them. So anyways, that is my, or rather Oren's Joy cardigan. And now, okay. I want to start talking a little bit about what's going to be in our next shop update, which will happen on October 1st, so in just a few short days. And October is Socktober, which you know, and you also probably know that I am incredibly excited about Socktober because I adore sock knitting. And I adore wearing hand knit socks. So I'm just waiting for it to be cold enough for me to pull out my sock drawer. I do have a sock drawer. And then pick out a pair of socks every morning for the next 5 months. Let's see. But it's something that I just genuinely really, really enjoy. Like, I enjoy knitting socks because they are as complicated as you want them to be. So no matter whether you're craving a project that's just soothing and portable, like you want to take something to the playground, or you want to have something that you're knitting on when you're out with friends at like brunch or something, you can just, you know, choose a soothing stockinette sock. But you can also play with a lot of techniques there. And because it's a sock, at least I don't feel like, you know, it's a bit sad if you make like an all over cabled sweater and then at the end you don't quite like it or it doesn't quite fit. If you do it on a sock, if you want to try some new techniques, or if there are stitch patterns that, you know, you want to try out, I think socks are just great to do that. Plus, they're just really fun. Like, I mean, all of the colors that you maybe wouldn't wear otherwise, you can wear in your socks if you're so inclined. So yeah, so I adore knitting socks. So Socktober is a really happy time for me, and we always celebrate it here at Making Stories. And this year, for the first time, we're celebrating it with a big sock shop update, the first one of this kind. There will be more, and that is going to happen on October 1st. Now, we have a special little treat, two actually. The first one is if you order anything from the sock shop update, or, you know, any sock yarn from our collection or our portfolio, even if it's not in the shop update, because the shop update will only have new things, but we do have some sock yarn in stock. So if you order sock yarn or sock notions, all of those things, or subscribe to our sock box or sock skein between October 1st and October 7th, we gift you a copy of our socks collection, which has a handful, I think 7 sock patterns in them. They're gorgeous. They work with all sorts of different yarns, including the ones that I'm about to show you. And you get that from us as a little gift for Socktober. And you don't have to do anything. So you just place your order and then we email it to you. And yeah, that's gift number 1. And the little extra thing number 2 is that we opened a dedicated sock knitter email list a few months ago, which I'm going to link to in the down bar below. And as a little treat, and thank you for subscribing to the email list, you get early access to the sock shop update. So if you are subscribed to that sock knitter email list, great, you don't need to do anything. If you aren't yet, then head over to the website, subscribe, because then you get access on October 1st at 9 a.m. Berlin time for 3 hours exclusively. At noon on October 1st, the entire shop will be open to everyone, and, you know, all of the things that we'll have in the shop will be available to everyone. But as always with new products, I do buy limited quantities. So I rather, you know, buy more colorways, for example, but then in fewer skeins per colorway, to test out which ones you really love. So yeah, if you want to get first dips, subscribing to the sock knitter email list is a really good idea. If you are a collective member at the levels of full skein and sweater quantity, you also get the early access. So you can, of course, subscribe to the Sock Knitter email list. I very warmly invite you to, because you get like first glimpses into the products and stuff for the sock shop updates. So yeah, it has additional benefits of being on that email list. But if you are a collective member, level full skein or sweater quantity, you also get the early access at 9 a.m. for 3 hours. So yeah. Okay. So the first thing that will happen on October 1st is not the first thing, but we will have the sock shop update, which will also include that we're opening sock subscriptions up again. We do a quarterly sock box and sock skein subscription. So every quarter we select a theme and curate yarn, and in the box also notions and gifts around the theme for you. You can subscribe to it, and then it auto renews every quarter. If you want to stop it, you can pause it or cancel it up until a month after you've gotten the previous box. No questions asked. It's just a really good way if you want to try new natural sock yarns. So all of the sock yarns that we feature in the box, all of the sock yarn that we have in the shop are non-superwash and plastic free. So they don't have any nylon or polyamide in them. A lot of them are without, all of them, that was like a stupid thing to say. All of them are without artificial strengtheners. A lot of them are 100% wool yarns spun tightly and to specs that work really well for a sock yarn that doesn't have nylon in it. So nylon adds strength, supposedly, to a yarn so that it doesn't get holes that easily. Now, there are quite a few fibers, natural fibers, both plant and animal fibers, that have the same properties. Mohair is one, which is because it's incredibly strong. Silk is another. Linen or rami are also amazing natural strengtheners. So yeah. So all of the sock yarns in the sock subscriptions are non-superwash and plastic free. We curate them. There are usually things that we don't have in the shop. Most of the colorways are dyed up exclusively just for us. And we do have two options for the sock subscription. So you can get the sock skein, which is just the skein of yarn, or you can get the sock box, which includes the sock skein, notions, and a surprise gift. So both of these options are available. They're only available as subscriptions, and they're only available, like subscription slots only open every 3 months for a limited period of time. So for the next sock box, or starting with the next sock box and sock skein, which is the January one, we're opening subscription slots on October 1st. So if you want to subscribe, you have the chance between October 1st and October 7th, or when we sell out, because I'm only opening a limited number of spots. I think there will be 10 to 12 slots for the sock box and 10 to 12 slots for the sock skein. The first skein or box that you'll receive is the January one, which has the theme cozy. I'm going to sort of insert a few pictures here and a few slides. And it's just a really, really nice, cozy theme. I was inspired by this thought of, cuddling up on a sofa or your favorite chair with a really nice warm blanket and obviously a pair of hand knit socks, and then maybe a good book and a cup of hot chocolate or tea or coffee, possibly exchanging that book for a few rows on your latest sock project every once in a while. So just this feeling of, cozying up, being warm, being nurtured, tending to yourself. That was the theme that I wanted us to have in January. And we have some amazing makers that we're working with in January. I'm going to insert a couple of pictures here of their work. It's just exemplary, you know, this is not going to be the colorways or the exact things that you'll get, but so that you can see. So for the yarn, we're working with Aurore from Maison Corriedale, which is a French yarn company. They do custom spins and dye beautiful colorways. And trust me, you will be in for a treat. And will be a colorway that's quite different to anything that we've had so far in our sock boxes. So I adore it. Then we'll have notions from Anne Mive, who is a German-based maker of stitch markers and project bags and all sorts of things. And we'll, our gift for the sock box will be coming from Eulenschnitt, which is a really lovely pottery company. That might be a little hint there. Also based here in Germany, with a part of their production happening in Portugal. So all of the companies that we work with and all of the makers that we work with, they're small businesses. A lot of them are women owned. So if that's your jam, like it is mine, you know, getting a subscription might be a nice way to support these businesses as well. So yeah, so as I said, sock skein, you get the skein of Maison Corriedale yarn in January, and sock box, you get all of the things. You get the yarn, you get the notions, you get the gift. Yeah, subscription slots open on October 1st and they close on October 7th or when we sell out. Last but not least, regarding the subscriptions, and then I promise I'm going to talk about all of the other goodies that we'll have in the October shop update, is our October sock box. The open date is coming up really, really fast because that's October 1st. So originally I had planned to do the sock box content reveal here, but that's kind of stupid because if you have a sock box and you want to open it on October 1st, you've been saving it, and now I tell you what's in it, that's not really great, right? So I'm going to record a separate, really short video and put that up at the beginning of October on this YouTube channel, where you can see what's in October's sock box, so that if you are contemplating getting a subscription and you're curious what was in the previous box, you can see that in video format. Yay! Okay. October sock shop update, October 1st happening. And we have 2 new yarns that I'm really, really, really happy about. The first one you have seen in this podcast already. If you've been following this for a while, you know that one of the projects that I've been knitting on is this one, which is a pair. Well, it is one and it doesn't have a heel, but that's fine. Is a self-striping sock, and we will have the yarn for this self-striping sock in the shop in very limited quantities on October 1st, and I'm so thrilled about it because I adore self-striping yarns, but it's near impossible to find a self-striping sock yarn that's non-superwash and doesn't have plastic, aka nylon, in it. And when I started planning our Socktober celebrations, I was like, it would be so great to have self-striping yarn in this shop update. And I put up a question box on Instagram that must have been probably at some point early in the year, asking whether anyone knew of folks who might be able to do this, might be able to dye this. Anyone had, heard of someone who actually did do non-superwash plastic-free sock yarn in self-striping. And one name that kept coming up as someone who might be interested in working with me on this is Ulysse from woolmatters. Ulysse is based in the UK and is a fabulous natural dyer. Creates the most gorgeous, quite whimsical colorways out of plants and dye extracts, like all plant-based. It's just all natural. It's amazing. And so I messaged Alice, and Alice was like, I've never done this before, but I would quite like to try. And so with the help of her partner, Matt, Alice figured out a way to essentially create a gigantic loop of yarn out of a skein that she could dye in portions so that it knits up like this. Self-striping on a 56 stitch sock like mine. You get about 6 rows in each stripe. And it's absolutely, like, it's just amazing. The craftsmanship is just unlike anything that I've ever seen. Like, all of these are naturally dyed. All of these colors. Can you imagine? Look at that bright orange, for example. That's so good, right? And I think Alice just has such a wonderful eye for color. Like, I adore this colorway, which is called Fall Dreams, by the way. So this is Fall Dreams. The yarn that Alice dyed on is a 100% Corriedale yarn, which is really great for socks. So it's a really nice high twist yarn, sourced and spun in the UK. It holds up beautifully for socks. Like, I have socks on similar bases that I've worn for years, and they're great. So super, super nice. We will have sock sets, self-striping sock sets. Self-striping sock sets, I love that expression. In Fall Dreams, and a second colorway that I'm going to show you in a second. So this is how Fall Dreams looks like in the skein. And every skein comes with a mini skein in this contrasting color. As you can see, I've used mine for contrasting heels and, well, the cuff and the toes and the cuff, and the heel will be in the brown as well. And this is about 120 grams. So you get 100 grams in the main skein and 20 grams of the mini skein. True fingering weight, 400 meters on 100 grams, 437 yards on 3.53 ounces. Isn't that label cute? So cute. So this is Fall Dreams. And then Alice also dyed up this incredible colorway, which, yes, I know we're like, I'm always gravitating towards the earthy colors and stuff, but like, I mean, come on, this is so great. And all of this, again, naturally dyed. Look at that dark red, and that pink is almost neon, and the yellow, it's just so good. So this is Sock Disco. This is the sock that Alice knit, and you can see how it looks like with the heel in the contrasting color. And this is Sock Disco in the skein. Again, you get 100 gram main skein, and then a 20 gram mini skein in this beautiful blush color. So good. I just love them. And I can't wait. So I have the second one of these on my needles of Fall Dreams, and Alice was super kind and gifted me a skein of Sock Disco as well, and those are going to be great. And I think I'm going to have so much yarn that I'll definitely be able to make a pair for Oren and possibly even another one for me. So yeah. So Fall Dreams, Sock Disco, coming to the shop on October 1st. You don't want to miss them because they're absolutely fabulous. Just look at them. So good. Super, super, super nice. Now, oops. Hello, would you please stay there? Thank you. Okay, just quickly checking. Yes, we're still recording. This is a rather long episode, but that's fine. We'll get through it. Now, I also wanted to have another sock yarn in the mix that is a bit more, like, to me, these yarns are incredibly special. Naturally dyed, hand dyed, self-striping. They're absolutely mind-blowingly gorgeous, if you ask me. And I do think that, I want to have these really, really special yarns in the shop, but I also want to have some workhorse everyday yarns that, if you just want to crank out a few socks, you get like a skein of something else, and that's fine. And these like workhorse sock yarns, the way how I started calling them for whatever reason, if they're also supposed to be non-superwash and plastic free, are actually not that easy to come by. And so when I set out to research which yarns we could carry, I was super, super, super excited to stumble across what I'm going to introduce to you now, because it is from a German company, made here in Germany, out of super good materials, a really, really strong sock yarn that comes in a beautiful range of colors and is also actually quite affordable. This is Schoppelwolle AlbLino. Schoppelwolle, you might know from their Zauberbälle, which is kind of the original spin cycle thing. So these color changing yarn balls, we might have something coming there later this year as well. Just keep an eye out. But they also produce beautiful other yarns. A lot of them do have like it's biodegradable, but it's still plastic in them. But this one doesn't. And I was so excited when I discovered it. So AlbLino is the name already kind of describes the content, because this is a blend of 85% wool. I'm going to talk about where that wool comes from in a second, and 15% linen. So the linen is what creates this heathered look. Because similarly to the cotton in the sauna, the linen also just doesn't takes the dye differently because it's a plant fiber. And so you create this gorgeous, almost like marled look, but not really marled. Just heathered. Heathered is the word that I was looking for. One of the reasons why I'm so excited about this sock yarn is because the 85% wool, they come from one flock of wandering sheep. So like the sheep are allowed to roam around, which isn't that usual anymore in Germany. In Germany, on the Schwäbische Alb, Wanderschäferei Stotz, and Schoppelwolle buys all of their fleeces every year and blends them with 15% French flax. That's spun up into, and then, out of flax you get linen. So it's blended and then spun up and then dyed in a beautiful range of colors. So there are like these beautiful, gorgeous heathered colors. They come in these 100-gram balls, so you can start knitting right away. You don't have to wind them. And they are they're a true sock fingering weight gauge. What the am I talking about? In terms of yardage, they're just a true fingering yardage. So a 100-gram ball is 400 meters, so 437 yards. Hello, will you please focus? This is how it looks like. Really, really, really beautiful. This is the colorway that I picked out for a pair of socks myself. It's Bordeaux, so burgundy. Yeah, and I think it's going to be quite nice just knit up in soothing stockinette. But then also if you have like a larger scale cabled pattern, that should show up really well as well in this. I would not recommend to go for something that has like an intricate, smaller textured pattern, for example, because that I think might get lost in the heathered fabric. But other than that, I think this yarn would be great for anything. The linen in it, the 15%, acts as a natural strengthener. So when I started talking earlier about the natural sock yarns and what makes them strong, what kind of replaces the nylon in them, flax/linen is one of the fibers that you can use. So I'm really, really excited about this. If you've ever knit with a sock yarn that has rami in it, this is pretty similar. So rami is another plant fiber that you can use to strengthen a yarn. So yeah, very, very happy with these. Also, I mean, obviously non-superwash, right? So yeah. I will quickly show you the colorways that we have, because I've been listening to you. Like, we got a lot of feedback from, not a lot, but like we got quite a bit of feedback, especially around our last kits, that we do tend to have a limited color palette. So what I have done for AlbLino is I've ordered all of the colorways that are available in really limited quantities. So I only have 3 balls of each of these colorways, because otherwise it would have gotten quite expensive. So yeah. But we can reorder them at any point in time, and we will do so. So if you like this yarn as much as I do, then it's here to stay in the shop. Yeah, but I have sort of ordered the entire color range. So we have Bordeaux, trying to sort of kind of roughly go by color family, but we're going to start with, or like from light to dark or something. I'll try to make up with it. This is Natura, so this is just a cream white. Then we have Ochre, which is this warm, almost a little bit dusty pink beige. We have Savannah, a beautiful, slightly greenish yellow, and Savannah Mélange, which has a little bit of a greener undertone, and some of the linen fibers have been dyed black in this one, as you can see. So this is Savannah. This is Savannah Mélange. Then we have Papaya, which I absolutely adore. I think this is such a great orangey, but also a little bit corally color. I already showed you Bordeaux, but just as a comparison. And there are quite a few. Oh, before I show you the blues, I'm going to show you this one, which is Rosé Mélange. So this is for all of the lilac and purple lovers out there. This lilac with also, again, the linen dyed in black. So it's a really, really cool colorway. Really cool. There are a lot of beautiful blues. So there's Blue Mélange, which is this denim blue with black and white flecks in it. Then there is Primary Blue, which is exactly like the name says, Primary Blue. So that only has the white flecks. And then there is Marine, so navy, a really dark blue with a white linen. So these are the 3 blues together. We also have this gorgeous green that's called Wald. Wald is German for forest, and that's exactly how this looks like. And then in terms of neutrals, we have Mittelgrau Melange. So this is medium gray melange. We have Mocha Melange, a beautiful dark brown. And we have Schwarz Melange, so black melange. They are absolutely gorgeous. I'm like covered in yarn. Let's just put some of this back here. And yeah, really, really beautiful. I think very, very fun to knit with. Also very practical because they come wound in the balls already. And yeah, if you want to get some of these, they will be in the shop on October 1st as well. 9 a.m. for the sock knitter, email list and collective. And noon for everyone else. Then there are some more things, some more notions that I'm really excited about because some of these we've never had before. One I will show you that we currently have in the shop, but I think in terms of shop update, if you're looking for something to get you, for example, over the free shipping, which is 75 euros in Germany, 125 everywhere else, might I suggest our project bag called the Knitter, because that's excellent for sock knitting, has the perfect size. So that is one. But then also we have a few beautiful, absolutely new things. Can you guess what this is? Hello, please focus. We have needle stoppers for the first time. So needle stoppers, I'm going to show you that on needles in a second, are little, like in this case, these are silicone beads that you can put on the end of your project, like so. On the end of your needles so that the yarn doesn't slide off anymore. And we'll have 3 different designs. I am so excited about these. Like, I think they're so cute and they're so practical. We've never had them before. They're BPA free silicone. And we'll have these cute sheep. We'll also have these beautiful, I'm just going to put them onto the tips. We'll have these beautiful beads with a floral print. And we'll have, where's the second one? These rainbows. Because I couldn't resist rainbows, right? The cool thing is, because these are beads, so and silicone is quite stretchy but also elastic, they fit on lots of different needle sizes, right? So they don't come in like different sizes, they come in one size. So no matter whether you have like large needles or small needles, you can just fit them. You can see the little, oh, hello, focus there for a bit. You can see the little hole there that accommodates, like stretches to your needle size. So yeah, so we'll have these in the shop as well, which I am so excited about because they're beautiful and super practical. And and something that we've never had before. Now, another thing that we've never had before that we'll have is, sorry for the crinkling. I haven't gotten the the packaging for these yet, so bear with me. You'll see them in their original form, the way that they arrive with us. Is these little ring stitch markers. So they're designed for socks. So they are what is that, like 5 millimeter diameter, or like 4 millimeter diameter. So one of the things that I always struggle with when it comes to sock knitting and stitch markers in particular is that my usual stitch markers, like this one, for example, which I love, from Bubbles and Berries, they're very big and they tend to weigh down the sock and they're just not super practical. So I wanted to have simple but beautiful sorry, stitch markers that work really well for sock knitting, which in my book, these are exactly. So you get like it's just rings, metal rings essentially, in gold, silver, and rose gold, and they'll come in a set. So you get like a couple of each color in a little glass tube that you can just put in your project bag, put in your notions bag. Two more things that will be coming to the shop, which are not really directly related to sock knitting, but are things that A, you've been asking for, and B, I really wanted to carry in the shop. So the first one is that for the first time ever, we'll have buttons, all of the buttons. Okay. I was like kind of anticlimactic because it didn't focus. So we got lots of these cotton buttons from Merchant & Mills. They are made out of cotton, and we got them in lots of different colorways. So there's like lilac. Hello, will you please focus? An olive green, oxblood red, a dark blue, an autumny yellow gold, cream white, cinnamony brown, and black. And then some really special ones which I couldn't resist. These are made out of recycled paper. So they're this, they do a little bit like horn, they look a little bit like horn buttons. They're mottled. All of these are 15 millimeter diameter, except for the mottled paper, recycled paper ones. Those are 13 millimeter in diameter. And yeah, this is something that I think, you know, I mean, we've just been missing from the shop portfolio for quite some time because, you know, who doesn't need buttons every once in a while for their cardigans? So yeah, so that's something that I'm really excited about. The Merchant & Mills buttons, they are of great quality. I used them for Oren's cardigan that I knit him last year, and they've held up super well. So I'm very, very happy that we get to carry them. Last but not least, something that was so popular last year is making a comeback, and in lots of different scents. Our Candle candles are back. Yay! So, oh God, they smell so good. So Corriedale is a German candle company. They make candles, hand-poured candles out of 100% soy wax and natural essential oils. And the really beautiful thing about them is that they reuse wine bottles and craft them into these really beautiful glasses. And then they pour their candles in them. So they're completely vegan. They use cotton wicks, and they're absolutely the best scented candles that I know. And you can reuse the glass as a drinking glass afterwards. So when you've burnt down your candle, you can just reuse them. Like, they're the perfect size. So they're so good. They're such a great company. They've been really hard to get a hold of, like the candles, I mean, because they're so popular. So I'm really, really pleased that we're able to bring them back. And I thought, it's October 1st. Hopefully it's, a little bit fall weather everywhere. So what better way to celebrate that than by lighting a really beautiful fall scented candle. We have 8 scents, some of which we've had before, others you've never seen before, and they're all extremely amazing. So we'll start off, I'm not going to unpack all of them, but I wanted to show you how the glass looks like. So we'll have cinnamon. Each one, by the way, comes in this really cool like paper thing. So there's like, also the packaging is completely plastic free. They're wrapped in tissue paper, and then to keep them safe in this cardboard container that you can reuse or play with, or, well, if you have a kid, like, yeah, he just plays with everything. So anyways, super, super nice. Love them. We have cinnamon, which smells like cinnamon. Cedar wood. Hello, cedar wood. So that smells like cedar wood. Heublume, which is, oh God, I'm blanking on, like straw flower essentially. So it smells like that. Like, how could I describe the smell? It smells fresh, sort of like a freshly mown lawn, freshly mown meadow, essentially. Then we'll have Gewürzzauber again, Spice Magic, which I know a lot of you loved last year. A new one is Gute Laune, so good mood, which smells citrony and orangey, just really, yeah, to put you in a good mood. We'll have a Waldluft again, forest air, so that just smells amazing, like a really nice hike in a forest. A new one that we have is Wintermärchen, winter fairy tale. That one smells like cinnamon and spices and, yeah, like cookies, like a winter fairy tale essentially. And Spekulatius, which you also might know as Spekulos. It's a type of Christmas cookie, famous in Germany and also the Netherlands. And it smells like that Christmas cookie. So yeah, so that is all of the scents, 8 scents. One is better than the next, honestly. So I have to pick one that I wanna light. So yeah, do let me know which one you would pick. Thank you so much for sticking with me through this really, really long episode. I had the best time introducing you to all of the beautiful things that we'll have in the shop, but also obviously, talking about my knitting. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Do let me know, which candle scent you are drawn to. Also, I'm really curious whether you experience that momentum thing that I talked about with knitting as well. So do leave me a comment down below. And if you have any really great sock patterns you're knitting at the moment that you would recommend, I would also love to hear about these in the comments down below, because I keep a list of socks to knit. So yeah, I hope I see you on October 1st at 9 a.m. If you aren't subscribed to the Sock Knitter email list, do so via the link down below so that you get first tips. To everyone else, the shop will be open at noon. And yeah, until then, I hope you have a wonderful day and week. Give this episode a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And I'll see you again here in 2 weeks.